Okay, I think we are live and yes, Jim, Pilot Edge. So, anyway, welcome to the broadcast today. This is just me messing around on a Sunday afternoon. I've just signed up for Say Intentions. I went ahead and did the full year. Normally, I would do Pilot Edge. And I like Pilot Edge more than I do VATSIM, even though it's a paid service. Because I feel like Pilot Edge is better for the smaller planes, general aviation, Class D type airports. And so, but I came up to a time my subscription was about to renew, and I wanted to just try something a little bit different. So I've been watching a lot of Say Intention videos, and I thought I would try out the service and see, what it was like. I spent a few hours with it and realized that, it's got some potential. There's some things that are kind of weird, but one thing that I really like about it, and I'll just be completely upfront, I'm a pilot in real life, and I'm terrified of the radios. I fly out of a non-towered airport, and I'll fly around and I'll land, and it's all just about keeping your eyes out of the window and looking stuff, announcing what you want to do on CTAF and the like. But I really wanted to beef up my comm skills. And actually, when I was a student pilot, that's why I got Pilot Edge, and it was very helpful in that. So what I want to do today is I'm basically this is my home airport, non-towered. I'm going to fly to one or two different Class Ds that are fairly close, so it won't take long to get there in the Cessna. And what I'm going to do is, let me see if I can pull this up. Hopefully I don't lose any audio here. So this is me, the sim, the Say Intentions window, and hopefully this is working. Yeah, this is my iPad with Navigraph on it. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to fly. I'm going to put in to a local or close airport, and we'll kind of go through it and see what happens. I'm going to be very honest with you. This is going to be sloppy. It's not going to be like, oh, you wouldn't do that in real life. And some of that's going to be me, and some of that's going to be Say Intentions. I've already picked up on some things will be done and said that I don't think would happen in real life. Now, I also have Say Intentions. This is kind of neat. So you can pick. You've got options within the program, and you can see the program right there. You have options to pick to be able to hear other users of Say Intentions, and it's kind of cool. So you can have it to where you don't hear anybody. You can have it to where you only hear people that are close enough, whatever they deem that to be. Or you can have it to where you can hear everybody on the network that are accessing the same types of frequencies. I believe that's what it is. So if you're a bunch of people trying to get to ground, that's what I have it on. So we may hear other people speaking. I just feel like that adds a little more realism to it, even though it'll be people not landing where we'll be landing. So let me, first thing I want to do is I'm going to program into the G1000. I'm going to program in where I'm going to. And I'd already put that in. Let me hit enter. And so we're set up to go. I've set my altitude up here. About 2,500 feet. And we'll kind of start with that. Once I get up in the air on autopilot, what I'll do is I will set up my radio frequencies, some of which I would just do here. And I actually have some of them already set up. Like I have right now, I have the tower set up, but I'll set up other stuff too. So here we go. And turn the brake off if it's on. I'm flying the Airfoil Labs Cessna 172. I'm on X-Plane. And as I've said in the past couple of videos, I'm just giving Microsoft a little bit of a break. I know the an update just came out. That's awesome. Nothing but love for Microsoft, but I have been digging X-Plane a lot. The physics, especially on this plane in particular, along with the force feedback yoke, it's just great. Hello. What is it? Sparker in VR. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and make an early turn here. Normally I would fly a little farther out. This is not going to be by the rules. This scenery is ortho for XP, along with Sim Heaven.
Easy 2208 Newcastle Tower, winds 170 at 5, runway 25 cleared to land.
And I'm going to mute that just for a second. So that's Say Intentions. What is really cool about, one of the things that's really cool about Say Intentions when you're listening to people speak, some of these AI voices are really good, and you might actually forget just for a second. It's not like it'll totally fool you, but you may actually kind of forget that's is it a user or is it the program speaking, and that's definitely cool. So let me go ahead and switch this to autopilot. Navigation, altitude, and let's see how this does. I'm doing a lot of technology right now with this, between getting the iPad on here, and I don't know if you can see it or not, and so we'll see. But it looks like it captured. Let me do about a 400-foot climb. So okay, looks like we've got some capture. So what I'm going to do now is, you can already see, because I put in, now here's what I don't know. So a lot of this stuff I'm not sure how it works. I had already just put in the tower frequency. I did that manually. And now it's switched over from the airport where I was to New Century Air Center, which is in Kansas. I'm all in Kansas today. And it gives me, I don't know if you can read all this, but it gives me all of the frequencies I think that I'll need. And so what I'm going to do is now I could either click on this, and it puts it, you can't really tell, but it puts it in the active position. So if I click on this, like I just did, it made my current or active frequency on COM 1 118.9. And this is New Century Approach, and then 133 is Tower, and I've got that programmed in. And now for the, let's see, ASOS is 135.325. So what I will go ahead and do, I will bring up the audio, and like I said, we're going to have audio from other people speaking. It won't be just us, and we'll kind of go. If it's too busy, I'll switch it out. So
Approach American 7901.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mute, I'm muting COM 1. I'm going to listen to COM 2.
S. Clear. Temperature 0. Dew point -11. Altimeter 3037. Density altitude -900 feet.
Okay, so
New Century Air Center Airport.
So that's giving me all my weather information, and I'm about 13.5 out, and in just a little bit I'm going to make my first call, and I will move this over, and we'll kind of get it dialed up, and you can see New Century. Odds are they're going to probably tell me runway 36, but we'll see. Kind of go from there. So now what I'm going to do is, I've got my approach in, I've got my tower in, and I know that let's see, and ground is 124.3. I'll click that in just a bit. I've got pen and paper if I need it, but what I'm going to rely on today I'm going to rely on this running text instead of me writing it down. So Jan is saying, made my first 3 IFR flight. Again, sorry about the delay. All right, here we go. Let's try this again. It's not that far from the airport. Let's try to get this turned around. And I will put in for the other airport. Looks like I still have comms, so whatever that was, I have no idea.
Delta 1602, climb and maintain flight level 320.
Alright, let's see here. Direct to KIXD. Actually, we can go nearest.
Wind approach, good evening, Ryanair 883, descending 7,000 feet, leak
I'm gonna mute these guys for a little bit until I get more dialed in. Let's see here, do autopilot, navigation, altitude, set altitude for about 2,000. Raise up a little bit. All right. 16 nautical miles out. Sorry about all the delay. Let's try this again. And got all my comms are basically set up. Got approach is 1189. Towers 133. And 13532. So we'll listen to. Let me bring the audio back.
Ability 10. Sky conditions, clear. Temperature 0. Dew point -11. Altimeter 30.
Altimeter is 3037.
113.9, Delta 1602.
Okay. So we are looking good, I think. Okay. 14 out. I'll wait till I get a little bit closer to make the call. Also, with Navigraph, I don't have a route programmed in. I'm just kind of moving it
Sky
around.
212, Phoenix approach. Good afternoon. Phoenix altimeter 30.00.
But you can see the airport boundaries and where they are. It's Olathe New Century Air Center. That's where we're heading to. So, okay, I think we're close enough to make a call. Let us see what happens. New Century approach, Skyhawk 117 Tango Bravo, 12 nautical miles to the northwest, requesting full stop.
Skyhawk 7 Tango Bravo. Expect runway 36 at Executive Airport. Contact Executive Tower on 126.0 for landing clearance.
Interesting. That is not the right airport. Kansas City approach, Skyhawk 117 Tango Bravo, 12 nautical miles northwest of New Century, requesting full stop.
Skyhawk 7 Tango Bravo. Expect runway 36 at New Century. Contact New Century Tower on 133.0 for landing clearance.
Expect runway 36, New Century, contact New Century Tower 133.0 for landing clearance, Skyhawk 117 Tango Bravo. So right now, for whatever reason, I may have a setting checked. They don't always do readback verification. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So zoom this out. So 3.6. We'll see. I'm going to switch channels. New Century Tower, Skyhawk 117 Tango Bravo, 8.4 nautical miles to the northwest, requesting full stop.
Skyhawk 7 Tango Bravo, enter left downwind for runway 22. New Century Airport, winds 330 at 5, cleared to land.
Enter left downwind for runway 22, winds 330 at 5, cleared to land, Skyhawk 117 Tango Bravo. Now that catches me off guard because, let's see what happens. I'm at risk of wrecking everything. I'm going to pause it. So I don't think that's the best runway. Now, of course, there could be traffic depending. I don't know how AI does this, but every other time that I've done this, it's runway 36. And New Century is
Torre Lamperouse 2282, estamos listos para despegar.
New Century is an airport that has right pattern and left pattern. So for a left pattern enter, I need to kind of go across and then down. It's not a hard landing, but it's just not what I was looking for. Not what I was thinking would happen. And every time I've flown to this airport in real life, I've never landed on that runway. So when we get a little closer, I'm just going to kind of go under and to the south and then back around. And then I'll do a left downwind entry for runway 22. which is a short runway. I don't know if you can see this, but it's a short runway. Things are working a little bit better. So learning some lessons here, like maybe approach, it's Kansas City approach. And I didn't identify the first time. I didn't identify as calling Kansas City approach. I said New Century approach. That doesn't make any sense. That was my error, I think. Executive is an airport that's just right near there, so it's not far. Maybe we can do a landing there too. I'm an awfully long way away to be given a clear to land order, or whatever. So that doesn't seem accurate to me. Again, they don't have traffic in here. There's not other traffic. I think that's a coming thing. So that may be part of it. But as far as the AI knows, maybe I'm the only plane in the air, and that's why. How far am I away? I'm just about to cross into their airspace. But that just doesn't seem like it should be a thing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to program ground into the standby, which is, what is ground? 124.30. All right, I have ground programmed in. I'm going to take this off autopilot and start my descent. Scenery's not too bad. Again, this is ortho for XP with some sim heaven stuff. Stay kind of high and then cross over the airport, which you can see it right here to the left. I don't know if you can see this or not. There it is. And this is the end of runway 22. This is runway 36. So now I'm about to cross over 36, but I'm a pretty good ways up. I'm way up. I need to get way down. So I got mixed opinions on the use of this as a training tool for student pilots. You can train yourself to do the wrong thing and get into habits. And I think, honestly, if I'm just right now at this stage in the game, Pilot Edge may have the edge on here. They're both paid services. They're comparable in cost, depending on which package you get with Pilot Edge. I know they had a sale on this one. It was like $20 off. I did not get that sale. And so I paid full price for this. This is definitely not a sponsored video. So now what I'm going to do here in a little bit, I'm going to turn this around and make my... The scenery is not bad. This is not... It's not Microsoft, but it's not bad, and the flight physics, I think, are worth it. If any of you guys have done the update for 24, let me know. I'd love to hear how it's working out. X-Plane came out with a beta. I installed it. I had some weirdness. I uninstalled it. So I'm on whatever the highest version of 12. I think it's 12.1.3. So now I'm going to make my way. There's the base of 36, but that's not what I want. I want to do left downwind for one-way 22, which you can kind of see up ahead. Is that the beta, the 12.1.4? That's what I had installed earlier, and then for some reason my plugins, which I don't have a lot, were giving it fits. So I rolled it back. I did like the new camera. They have a physics-based camera. It's like there's head movement in the cockpit, and it's pretty smooth. I mean, it's pretty smooth. I don't use Realistic XP or any of that stuff. Okay, so now I'm in the downwind of runway 22. And I'm kind of using Navigraph as my eyes. Normally what I would do set my heading bug, which I just did. Take your eye off. Alright, that should be even. Yep, there it is. And some flaps. A little slow, a lot slow. Go ahead and make my turn to base. Add more flaps. Go ahead and make my final. I think I'm going to end up being early, but let's see. Up. Hopefully that's the right runway. I just added my last bit of flaps. I'm a little high. Pitch for about 65. Pulling some of the power out. See how I get this landing. I'm going to slip it a little bit, drop some altitude. This is definitely higher, so I'm going to land a little farther back. Cessnas can stop really quickly. I've made the runway. I'm going to pull power. I'm going to add some power back in. There. Now let's see. Normally they will contact me first. And I'm crossing a runway here, which is weird. But I'm going to get off right here. I'm going to go ahead. They didn't tell me. I'm going to switch to ground and see what happens. New Century Ground, Skyhawk 117 Tango Bravo, holding at runway 22 and Alpha.
Three 3.0 when ready for departure.
Oh, they already did. I'm sorry. I had
Ground, Ice Air 623, request taxi.
Okay, so they did contact me. That's my fault. I had them turned down. So I'm going to pull over here by the FBO. For those of you that are using this program at busier airports for like IFR, I don't know what you're seeing. I don't know if it's handling that or not, but this is, I mean, this is cool, especially if you're just nervous on the radio.
Nostrum 4041, ready for taxi.
Right,
Request taxi to runway 14 right.
Yeah, the ground call did come a little bit early. I can see the timestamp on it, or not the timestamp. I can see where it did come through, but it does come early. And they give clearance to land very, very early. It just, again, I don't know if that's because there's less traffic. I am not entirely sure. Let's try. I'm just going to see what happens. I've never been to this other airport in real life or in the sim. It's Olathe, Kansas Executive Airport. They have one runway, or two runways, 36 and 18. And so I'm going to put in, I'm going to delete the flight plan here. And I'm going to put in KOJC. Let's see. KOJC. That is correct. So enter. I am using this Octavi IFR keypad, and I got to say, as I get more and more used to it, I like it. I like it a lot. There's tons of review videos. I don't think I need to do a review video. If you're thinking about getting it, it's a little overpriced, but it is really, really handy if you don't have a hardware bezel G1000. Yeah, and when I requested to come in for the clear the runway versus contact ground, I requested a full stop. And so I believe I did. I can go back and look. And so they should have said something about go to this, the FBO or whatever, and that didn't happen. So again, I don't know if this is nitpicking. I don't know what to expect. This is kind of new for me in terms of the AI part of it. I feel like though if it's got a chance to get better, then that's good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call up. Let me get my frequencies in for executive. Let me look this up on where was this? My comms. Okay, so now I've got the comms and stuff pulled up. This is on Navigraph. So the first thing I'm going to do is the ATIS is 11935. I've got that set. I'm just going to do tower 126 even. I wonder if that changes anything. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it says taxi tuned. That means that there's a portal, a pilot portal like you can see down here. You can go in, and if the taxi runways are off, you can edit that. You can make it to where it's accurate, and then submit it, and either make it to where it's your default use, but you can also make it to where other people can use it, and that's pretty cool. And then let's see, tower and ground is 1216. But first I'm going to talk to ground here. And I'm just curious. So I put in stuff for the next airport, but I'm not done with this airport. So I want to see when I click on this what it erases in the G1000. So I just want to see what it does. So I'm going to ground. Let me bring the volume back up so I can be heard. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to settings and click on multiplayer. And this is where you can pick, I guess you can do pre-recorded and AI generated. You can do live multiplayer, global, live multiplayer proximity, and then share your audio. I'm going to turn off the global and just leave it on proximity. I guess that means if there's people doing, the big one around here would be Kansas City. But let's just try that and see how it goes. Okay, so New Century ground 124.3. Let's see what they tell us to do. New Century ground, Skyhawk 117 Tango Bravo, requesting departure. Currently at the FBO. All right, so I screwed that order up. I should have said where I was first.
Skyhawk 7 Tango Bravo, taxi to runway 22 via Alpha. Contact tower on 133.0 when ready for departure.
Taxi to runway 22 via Alpha, contact tower on 133.0 when ready to depart. Skyhawk 117 Tango Bravo. Now again, I would have written that down, but it's right here and I can see it, and that's fine. But normally, and I actually have my pad and paper, and I've been writing some stuff down, but for the sake of this, I can do it. So 22 via Alpha. Let's see if that's how accurate that is. It's not accurate at all. So you can see where I am. And Alpha basically is this one that's kind of right to my right going north and south. And it intersects with Bravo. And there's a runway to cross. So not that part, that is not accurate. Now there's a, and he did say 2-2. Yeah, 2-2. Alpha to 3-6, which is what I'm used to getting. Yeah, that would be fine. But not to Bravo. And on their website, when you're editing the taxiways, it has this feature where you can put in where you a start and a stop point on the screen, and then it will tell you what it would recommend for travel. So just to kind of test out your work. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Alpha and I'm going to do a hold short on Bravo right before it crosses over runway 36 or 18. So I'm gonna do that. So let's see what happens, and then I'll switch over to ground, or I'll switch over to, well, I don't know, I'll leave it on ground and see what they say, because I kind of feel like that's a ground function. Now, what I'm not sure is there a way for me to enter the airport that I want to go to into, say, intentions directly? Because it's still showing information for this airport, not the next. Even though when I was at Lawrence Airport, it showed the airport information for this airport. So again, my concern with this so far in the several days, I guess I've had this for about a week, is that if you're using this as an actual training aid as a student pilot, it could get you into some weird habits. Because these are the kind of airports that people fly out of initially. I mean, not that they don't start out at busier, but all right, let's see what happens here. I'm going to hold short. I did not get any permission to cross a runway. All right, let's see. New Century Ground, Skyhawk 117, Tango Bravo, holding short on Alpha at runway 18.
Skyhawk 7 Tango Bravo, contact tower on 133.0 when ready for departure.
Now see that makes no sense. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try 133. And I'm going to say the same thing. Skyhawk, New Century Tower, Skyhawk 117 Tango Bravo, holding short on Bravo on runway 18.
Skyhawk 117 Tango. Bravo, New Century Tower, Irma. Repeat your request, Skyhawk. Skyhawk 7 Tango Bravo, runway 22, winds 330 at 5, cleared for takeoff.
Okay, once again, no explicit say, hey, you can cross the runway. And now I'm on Bravo. And it's saying I can depart. I think if you're not a student, I tried pilot ATC, and for whatever reason, I don't know. I didn't click with it. Now when I'm going to hold short at runway 22 and then change my radios over, which are mostly done. This will be a really quick, it's only 6 or 7 miles. Like as soon as I get up in the air, I'll be contacting executive. Yeah, these were not good instructions. So I'm gonna hold short here. And I'm gonna put in for tower 126.0. And what is ground over there? One to 1.6. And I'm actually using my Logitech panels for my entry, and I've got ATIS is 119.35, And I'll just listen to that real quick. This is not how I would do this, but
ND330 at 6. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, clear. Temperature 1. Dew point -12. Altimeter 3036. Density altitude -700 feet.
so it has in the Taxi Tunes section, if you pull up the software for it, it's a web app on their website. It basically, there's one guy that's been very enthusiastic about editing a lot of stuff, but then there's an Asobo default. And you can pick which one it goes to. And I have not pulled it up for this. I might do that here in just a bit, but we'll see. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off. And I mean, like, as soon as I get up, I'm gonna have to make my call because these airports are just right next to each other. Forgot to reset all my controls. There we go. Thanks. Rotate. And once again, just to throw this out there, having this force feedback yoke with X-Plane is as close as I have come to flying an actual Cessna 172 that's not in the Cessna 172. So if you're looking for realism, get a force feedback yoke and it will be on X-Plane. All right. I'm gonna make my call. Now, except, see, here's where it gets weird. I'm in the airspace. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the airspace, and then I'll make my call. I've never done this in real life. I don't know what the actual protocol is. I do not use Avitab. I have looked at it, and some of the planes on X-Plane have that where you can add it, but I have not used it. Yeah, once I get out of the airspace, I'll hook around and I'll level out here. I don't need to get any higher. I probably could see it to the left. Now, sometimes when I cross over the airspace, we'll see if they'll clear me. Except I'm not on that channel. Right, now I'm back on the channel. I do like being able to click on this here and it will automatically update your active channel. normally, every other time I've left an airspace, I have gotten a notification from the tower. Putting in more. Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens here. Executive Tower, Skyhawk 117 Tango Bravo, 13 miles to the west, requesting full stop. Forgot to add my altitude.
Skyhawk 7 Tango Bravo, enter left downwind for runway 36, Executive Airport. Cleared to land.
Left downwind for runway 36, clear to land, Skyhawk 117 Tango Bravo. Okay. So... I'll have to try it out. Is there a fee? How much does it cost for Avatab? So what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you can see, but this airport to the right of the one I just left is what I'm trying to get to. So for left downwind, man, it would have been nice if they had just said left base. And I could have done, I mean, that would have been easy peasy, but that's not what I did. That's not what they did. Not too bad. Not too bad. 3,000 feet. Shot the turn. Yeah, way too early. On the, I'm so far away and have to go over so many things and so much opportunity for other planes to come in. In this area, at these airports, in real life, there are a lot of smaller private jets, and they like to do straight in approaches. And so there's just, and we're, if you can look and see, right to the north is the beginning of a Bravo airspace for Kansas City, which is definitely a busy airport. I'm actually fairly, I'm not going to say new to Navigraph, but new-ish to Navigraph. I've had subscriptions off and on for several years. I have a 4-flight subscription, which perfectly syncs up with X-Plane and Microsoft. It's a well thought out program, and plus it's what I use in real life, but I don't have European maps in it, and I just want to get used to this. And so I think as the bird flies, probably, I don't know, 6 miles. It was saying when I put in destination direct to, when I was sitting on the taxiway, it said 6.9 nautical miles. And that's before I took off in the opposite direction. So far, I've liked it. I'm getting used to it. I'm getting more proficient with it. There's a couple of things that they need to add. The biggest one, it makes no sense to me that they don't have a direct to. It's in their forums for years. It is a super common function. It's a super common thing for things to change up. And there's workarounds, but they are not easy to do when you're trying to also hand fly a plane. But I mean, it's a great piece of software, and I think if you're doing any kind of, you know, stuff like this, then it's almost mandatory. What's interesting is, though, with Microsoft adding that EFB, is that gonna, are people going to be like, it's just good enough that I don't need a subscription? I'm curious about that. And X-Plane doesn't really have anything equivalent to that. There is Flight Plan Go, which is free. It's an actual EFB that you can fly with in real life, and it also syncs up to Microsoft and X-Plane, but the free version doesn't have European maps. And I like doing European flights. So never been to this airport in real life. Actually, it's a small single. So we'll see. I think what'll be really cool is my next thing will be doing like Class C, just kind of go up. We have to deal with clearance, delivery, and things like that, and more approach departure stuff. I'm about 4.9. And see how long it's been, and I already have clearance to left entry and land. I feel like I should be notifying them now. Is it an EFB that's browser based? I know that some of the pads, some of the X-Planes have it, but am I also hearing that it can be updated with Navigraph and Jepson charts? I've not used Avitab, so I'm not very, it'll say not available in the planes that I have, at least on X-Plane. You can see that a little better. So under normal circumstances, what I would do, I would basically fly over this airport at a, I don't know, 1,000, 1,500 feet above the traffic pattern, and then teardrop it back into the downwind. I'm not going to do that today. Although I'm just going to kind of hook it into the downwind. Yeah, I'll have to look into Epitaph and just see. I mean, Navigraph is paid. I just don't know how the two are integrated. What happens if you don't have Navigraph, but you have Epitaph? What does that give you? An EFB? Is that what you're saying? That must be the runway right there. I do like that Navigraph has an actual iPad app. Because I'm out of screen space. Like it takes a lot of screen space to stream this stuff. If I'm not streaming, then yeah, I've got plenty, and I'll use the browser window sometimes. But it works really well on the iPad. And I love how on Navigraph I can make a flight plan on any of their, whether it's browser or cloud or the desktop app or the iPad app, and it all transfers over. And in X-Plane 12, I can import that into the G1000. It's super easy to do. All right, I am. There's the. So I flew over. I actually am about 1,000 feet over traffic pattern. So then what I'll do is I will start to descend, and I'll teardrop it back into a left downwind. And I'm gonna probably, in real life I'd go a little farther out before I did this, but I'm gonna make this kind of a high bank turn. So if you're using Ortho for XP, there's a 1.4 version out there. I believe it's 1.4 that takes into account the new stuff, the new water features of X-Plane 12. This is not right, but I'm going to do it like this. I'm sorry. I should have entered from the other side, but oh well. The yoke behaves really well. I think it works better in X-Plane than it does in Microsoft. Especially if you get the plane trimmed in, that's more realistic. It's less touchy than, say, a passive yoke. I don't have any bad thing to say about it. And the developer, they're constantly working on stuff to improve it. I did do a review on it. Check it out. It's my favorite piece of gear. Totally screwed this one up. But I'm going to do it. I'm going in. I'm going in. I can do this. Except for that tall tree. Just land a little bit far. Don't hate me for making it work. Get off. Now I'm wanting force feedback pedals. All right. Let's see what saying tension says, if anything. Yep, I should have gotten another call by now. And then I'm just going to pull off here and stop and kind of recap. Okay. Yeah, there's been, I mean, how's that for a stop? There's definitely been some issues with, and I'll touch base on that in a sec, but as far as saying tensions goes, I'm going to keep using it. I think it adds to my enjoyment of this process. I like being on the comms. It's helpful in that sense. If you get mic fright, I think it's helpful in that. I don't know that I would use this as a training tool because I don't think it's reliable, and I think it would teach you bad habits. I think if, from a student perspective, I think Pilot Edge is better. And like I said, they're comparable in cost. I don't know how this relates to, you know, I know on VATSIM, those guys are probably more accurate. I just feel like with VATSIM, my hesitation is it looks big and hectic, and I just, sometimes when I listen in, it's like the Wild West. And there's a lot of people that seem to be new at it, and maybe they're too new at it, or they don't know the airplane or whatever. I don't think right now VATSIM is for me. Maybe when I get a little more proficient in IFR stuff, that might be a thing. And I am working on it. And to answer your question about the yoke, yeah, on some things, like, there's been some small issues, but by and large, it's pretty stable. I've not had any real problems with it. And I think since I've had it for like about a month or so, maybe a little bit longer, there's been at least 3, I think, updates. And he's responsive. The developer is responsive. So, but in any case, yeah, I think it's awesome. Yeah, I'll do some flight following stuff, especially once I start doing the Class C stuff. I think that'll be, more of a thing. But in any case, I think it's fun. I think if, it's not cheap. It's $195 for a year. If it's on sale, I missed a sale. It would have been $70 or $175. And that's, that's not super cheap. But I like the idea of the process. I like the idea that that this will get better. Hopefully it'll get better, and then I'll know I've paid for a year. I'm gonna stick with it and see what happens. And if it's not drastically improved, then I'll go on to other things. But in any case, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna head out. And you guys